claims of massive populations. Book of Mormon, Helaman chapter 3, verse 14. But behold, 100th part of the proceedings of this people, yea, the account of the Lamanites and of the Nephites, and their wars and contentions and dissensions, and their preaching, and their prophecies, and their shipping, and their building of ships, and their building of temples, and of synagogues, and their sanctuaries, and their righteousness, and their wickedness, and their murders, and their robbings, and their plundering, and all manner of abominations and whoredoms cannot be contained in this work. If 100th part of the wars, building of ships, temples, synagogues, and sanctuaries cannot be contained in the Book of Mormon, looking at what I have quoted from so far, there should be no excuse for not having readily available thousands, if not millions, of artifacts to back up the Book of Mormon. I would like to just see one that can clearly be shown to be linked directly to the accounts given in the Book of Mormon. Mosiah chapter 27, verse 6. And there began to be much peace again in the land, and the people began to be very numerous, and began to scatter abroad upon the face of the earth, yea, on the north and on the south, on the east and on the west, building large cities and villages in all quarters of the land. Helaman chapter 11, verse 20. And thus it did come to pass that the people of Nephi began to prosper again in the land, and began to build up their waste places, and began to multiply and spread, even until they did cover the whole face of the land, both on the northward and on the southward, from the sea west to the sea east. Mormon chapter 1, verse 7. The whole face of the land had become covered with buildings, and the people were as numerous almost as it were the sand of the sea. Ether chapter 10, verse 21. And they did preserve the land southward for a wilderness to get game, and the whole face of the land northward was covered with inhabitants. I believe the answer to whether or not we should find artifacts that would back up the Book of Mormon if it was a true record would be a definite yes. In fact, I would expect the Mormon Church to publish major articles all the time, just about the latest artifacts being found. Could you think of a better way to grow their church? Have you ever seen such an article? I haven't. I don't expect to either. You see books published from time to time making giant leaps of faith and logic to turn any old artifact into something supposed to be linked to the Book of Mormon. But have you ever seen the Mormon Church make an official declaration that some artifact can definitely be linked to the Book of Mormon? They can't make such statements, because if they did, their statements would be proven false in very little time, because of the simple fact that the Book of Mormon is not a historical account, but rather a fictional story, other than the parts copied and often distorted out of the Bible. Some of the stories in the Book of Mormon are dated by the Mormon Church at the bottom of the pages in the Book of Mormon to have happened even as late as 421 A.D. The latest written books in the Bible were finished before 100 A.D. Yet there are several, probably thousands, of known historical artifacts that confirm the historical accounts given in the Bible that date well before 1000 B.C., and millions that date later. There are no historical artifacts that can confirm the alleged historical accounts given in the Book of Mormon, even dating as late as 421 A.D. or any other time. Highlights in quoted Book of Mormon verses added. All dates given at the end of Book of Mormon quote-unquote scripture verses are the alleged dates given in the footnotes to the Book of Mormon. Please copy and share this presentation with anyone that you would like to. Thank you very much for your time.